It's the opening of a new session here in Albany. Hi there, I'm David Smith with Meet the Leaders, and it's always interesting whether you're tried and true, been around for a number of years, or whether you're a newbie on the job. And we've got one of those freshmen Assemblyman with us right now, as a matter of fact. We're pleased to have Colin Schmitt representing the 99th District, Orange and Rockland County.
Absolutely.
Congratulations to
Thank you.
Thank
you for having me here.
A major undertaking.
Absolutely. It's a lot of hard work. The victory wasn't mine alone, though. We had a lot of family, friends, and neighbors who supported the effort, and we were able to win. We were able to win big, and it just shows we got a lot of crossover support. We won in a very difficult year for Republicans. Every Republican above me lost. We overperformed them in every district. I think it's a testament to hard work and having a message that resonated with the constituents of the 10 towns I represent. That not only does my district, the 99th Assembly District, but our entire state needs to be a place where all can live, work, and prosper. Many can't afford to live here, they can't afford to raise their family here, and even if they lived here their whole life, contributed to the community, they're being forced out in retirement. Or their children who grew up here, they go off to college and they can't come back. Lack of jobs, the property tax burden is just too high, and so many onerous burdens that continue to be placed on everyday New Yorkers, everyday residents and constituents in my district. And we took that door to door and told everybody that, listen, I can't change everything overnight, and I never promised that I alone will, but every action I take, every vote I take, will be to at least get an inch closer to more affordability, to be able to live here and enjoy your life here in New York. The solution of let's move to Pennsylvania, let's move to Florida, the Carolinas, that's unacceptable. You should be able to live in the Empire State. We call ourselves the Empire State, but everybody's fleeing. That makes no sense. If you've built this community up, or if you want to build this community up, you should be allowed to stay and able to stay.
And clearly, that resonated with your constituents.
Absolutely, 100%.
That is very exciting. You know, this is a year, not only in New York, but across the country, a lot of grassroots, there you are, pounding on doors and taking that personal message to the people directly has proven very effective.
Absolutely. I mean, and that's the most important thing. We weren't a heavily operated organization like some campaigns are out of Albany or out of New York City. It was all local people, all family, all friends, local volunteers. We didn't have a paid staffer. It was just people's blood, sweat, and tears because they believed, because they cared. They were concerned with the direction that our state was heading, especially in the Hudson Valley. A big theme was our Hudson Valley values. And in Orange County, Rockland County, we have a certain set of values. We have hardworking men and women and their families in the district, and they feel that they are often overlooked for the expense of New York City or special interests that don't care about Goshen, they don't care about New Windsor, they don't care about Stony Point. And so making sure that there's a voice, and that's the voice that I pledge to be, to stand up and say no when it's wrong for my district. It's critically important, and my district can rest assured that that's what they'll get from this first day of session on through my entire term.
Seems appropriate then that you should be on the local government committee.
Absolutely. I was honored. I had requested to be placed on the local governments committee. I was named as the ranking member, and I really view it as one of the, if not the most important bipartisan committees. Most of the committees and a lot of the legislation that goes through Albany we see many times can be partisan, bitterly partisan. But when it comes to local governments, the operation of our local level of government, a lot of this stuff is bipartisan. It's stuff that we need to get done for our local villages, our local towns. And before I came to the Assembly, I was Chief of Staff for the town of New Windsor town government, which is in my district. So I have an innate understanding of the local concerns that local governments have and that residents have as well. So I've already hit the ground running, working with the chairman on that committee. I think we're going to have a great bipartisan relationship, and I think it's going to not only be a benefit for the state, but for my district it's going to be a benefit to have me on that committee and be able to deliver for the residents.
Well, your experience obviously is invaluable, and your constituents recognize that as they cast their ballot for you, that you'll be representing them, which is ultimately key, no question about it. And you bring up the bipartisan nature of this. Now, this is the year where the Democrats have now securely taken over both the House and the Senate, as well as the big chair. But most of the work that gets done in state government is on a bipartisan basis. It works for everybody. You get down to budgets and a few nitpicky little things that separate people out a lot, but generally it's a bipartisan act.
I mean, that's what we need to get the job done. It has to be bipartisan. That's why I pledged in my inauguration addresses that we have to work in a bipartisan fashion across the state, across levels of government. I'm willing to work with anybody if it benefits my constituents, if it benefits the region and the state. And I also pledge that I'm willing to be a passionate opponent, even to members of my own party when necessary, when they're doing something wrong, when they're standing for the wrong thing, because that's the only way that we actually solve the problems for our district, across parties, across regions, and across levels of government. And I'm proud to have experience, to know how to operate on the local level, at the state level, and I want to put that to work, and I've already done that. We've got some good legislation we're drafting up, we plan to introduce in the coming days and weeks.
Great.
And like I said, I've already reached out to members of the opposing party at both levels to say, hey, this is what my district needs. How can we get it done? Where we have like-minded issues, let's make it happen. Where we diverge, let me tell you why I think I'm right, and let's just get something done.
Well, and you're also on the tourism committee, which, given the Hudson Valley's incredible diversity, should be very, very interesting to be participating in.
Absolutely, and that's another reason I requested that committee. My district, we probably have the largest tourism center, I think, on the East Coast, which is Woodbury Commons Premium Outlets. I mean, I've traveled to Asia and been on the flight back, and there are stewardesses there who are flying in and they stay and they shop at Woodbury Commons. I mean, it's known the world around. My district is known the world around for our shopping. So right there, we have West Point in my district, another major destination. Sure. We have so many other spots, Bear Mountain, so many other spots that many people know world around in my district. So that's why it was critical that I be put on that committee. We actually had our county director of tourism up yesterday for the swearing in.
Oh, exciting.
And so we're already hitting the ground running with the local and county partners. And I look forward to working through that committee to the benefit of my district, because it's so important, but also the entire state.
Colin, thank you very much for being with us. Congratulations on your election and all that you're involved in already and what you're going to be doing going forward. You don't have to be from Asia, however, to visit Woodbury Common or anything.
No, so everybody's told me that they visited Woodbury
Everyone's
Commons
welcome.
from, everyone runs up, you're the new Woodbury Commons representative. I was just down there last week. I said, that's me. Stop by anytime when you visit.
Come on by.
We appreciate the economic stimulation, for sure.
Of the 99th District, our guest, as he kicks off his career up here in Albany, as we do for a new session. For Meet the Leaders, I'm David Schmitt.